All right, welcome back. This is it, the final part of our deep dive into global navigation satellite systems. So far, we've covered the four global giants, but now we're going beyond them to look at the specialists, the regional systems, and the extra layers of tech that are finishing the puzzle and really setting the stage for our hyper-connected future.
And just so we're all on the same page, this is the third and final part of our explainer. It's all based on the fantastic report, Global Navigation Satellite Systems Around the World by Virtualization Options LLC. And today, we are zeroing in on everything covered in Chapter 3 of that report.
So think about it. We've talked about GPS, GLNS, Galileo, and Beidou. They cover the whole world, which is incredible, right? But what happens when global just isn't quite good enough? You know, what if you're trying to navigate a fishing boat off the coast of India, or you're stuck in a delivery van between skyscrapers in downtown Tokyo where signals get lost? That's when you call in a specialist.
And that's what this is all about, the regional players. Now, these systems aren't trying to take over the world. No, they're hyper-focused. They're built to solve very specific, local problems, and honestly, in doing so, they are pushing the absolute limits of what we thought was possible with satellite navigation.
First up, let's look at India's really incredible system, NAVIC. You have to understand, this system is a huge statement. It's about technological independence. See, for any major country, having to rely on another nation's system for something as critical as navigation, well, that's a big strategic risk. NAVIC is India's answer to that problem.
Its full name is Navigation with Indian Constellation, or NAVIC for short. And its mission? It's crystal clear. Give India and the huge ocean region around it a rock-solid, totally independent positioning service. It's all about having a reliable system that they built for their own needs.
And check this out. NAVIC's design is super clever. It uses just 7 satellites, but in a really unique mix. 3 of them are in geostationary orbit, meaning they stay parked in one spot over the Indian Ocean. The other 4 are in geosynchronous orbits, tracing these specific patterns in the sky. This combination is brilliant because it guarantees that from anywhere in India, you've always got a lock on at least 4 satellites. That means a strong, accurate signal all the time.
And this isn't just some cool science project. The real-world impact is massive. NAVIC is used to coordinate disaster relief when floods or earthquakes hit. It actually sends out alerts to fishermen to stop them from accidentally crossing into other countries' waters. We're talking about managing entire truck fleets, even keeping the national power grid in sync. NAVIC has become truly critical infrastructure.
Okay, now let's hop over to Japan. They faced a totally different but equally tough problem. Think about it. Packed cities full of skyscrapers and rugged mountains. Both are just terrible for satellite signals. So they came up with an equally brilliant solution, the Quasi-Zenith Satellite System, or QZSS.
So Japan's ultimate goal here, their big vision, is a constellation of 7 of these satellites. The idea is to just blanket the entire Asia-Pacific region with these super precise signals, making sure they're always available.
And you know what? They're already well on their way. As of today, 4 of those satellites are up there, active and operational, and they're already providing a huge performance boost for navigation all across the country.
And the result? It's kind of mind-blowing. When you combine the QZSS signals with standard GPS, you get 1 meter positioning accuracy anywhere in Japan. 1 meter. That is a massive, massive improvement, and it's what's going to unlock some seriously futuristic applications.
So how on earth do they do it? Well, the secret is right there in the name. Quasi-Zenith. Zenith means directly overhead. These satellites fly in these really unique orbits that look like they're tracing a figure 8 in the sky, with Japan right in the middle. This means for about 8 hours a day, a satellite is hanging almost directly above you. That super high angle lets the signal punch right down between the buildings and into the valleys. And the best part? It's totally compatible with GPS. Your phone just sees a QZSS satellite as another really, really strong GPS satellite. Simple but genius.
You know, this whole idea of enhancing a system that already exists brings us to our next topic, satellite-based augmentation systems, or SBAS. Just think of these as a critical safety net, a layer of extra precision that sits on top of all the global systems we already have. So here's how SBAS works. You have this network of ground stations, and their only job is to watch the global GNSS signals 24/7. They look for tiny errors, maybe from atmospheric haze or a satellite's clock being off by a nanosecond, and they calculate a correction. Then they beam that correction signal up to their own satellite, which broadcasts it back down. Your receiver gets that correction and, boom. Instantly, it's more accurate and way more reliable.
But here's the most important part. SPAS provides something called integrity. It doesn't just make the signal more accurate, it tells you if you can trust the signal with your life. And that is absolutely non-negotiable for something like aviation. I mean, if a pilot is trying to land a plane in zero visibility, they need to have 100% confidence in their navigation. SPAS provides that confidence.
And this brilliant idea has gone global. The US has WAS, which has completely changed the game for aviation safety. Europe has EGNOS, which helps out not just planes but also ships and trains. India has Gaggan, Japan has MSAS, and Russia has SDCM. They all work on their own, but they're all based on the exact same idea: create a bubble of super high integrity positioning to make travel safer for everyone. So what happens when you put all of this together? You've got the global systems, the regional specialists, and these augmentation layers. Well, you get something that is so much more powerful than any single piece. You get our multi-GNSS future, a true ecosystem of systems.
Just let this number sink in for a second. By 2026, a receiver pretty much anywhere on the planet will be able to pick up signals from over 100 navigation satellites. We've gone from relying on just one system to having this incredibly rich, redundant, and robust network constantly flying over our heads.
And what does that actually get you? The practical benefit is just staggering. A receiver that can listen to multiple constellations at the same time can be up to 50% more accurate than one that's stuck with just a single system. This is what finally lets us navigate reliably in all those tough spots we talked about. The cities, the mountains, you name it. More satellites simply means more reliability.
And this right here, this is where it all leads. This incredible level of precision, we call it lane-level accuracy. This is the key. This is the technology that will finally make self-driving cars a reality. Because an autonomous vehicle has to know exactly which lane it's in. And this dense, multi-layered ecosystem of satellites is what will make that possible.
So in the end, we've done it. Humanity has built this silent, invisible, global utility. It's an infrastructure of precision that's unlike anything else in history, made up of satellites from countries that are both competitors and partners. It's already here. It's already working for us every single second of the day. And that just leaves one big question. What are we going to build with it next?